This is the plaintiff, John Russo. He says it was a rainy and stormy night, and as he was driving down the road, a tree fell on his car, pinning him against the seat. He was badly injured, swallowed glass, and had internal bleeding, and had a thumb bone pierce his skin and was almost killed. A tree expert told him the tree should have been taken down 30 years ago because it was a hazard waiting to happen, and the owners of it, the defendants, won't compensate him for his losses. He's suing for $2,325.82, the amount he's owed. These are the defendants, Elaine and Tony Ross. They say they were outside warning drivers to avoid this huge fallen tree in the road when all of a sudden the plaintiff, not paying attention to anything, ran right into it. They thought he had decapitated himself and were so scared when they ran over to the car to see if he was okay. Luckily, he survived. Bottom line, a tree guy said it was rotted on the inside, which is impossible to tell from the outside. And the tree in question's not even theirs, it's the town's. So they're sorry, but they owe the plaintiff nothing and are accused of neglecting a hazard.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, John Russo, you are suing Elaine and Tony Ross for $2,325.82 in damages that you say you have sustained as a result of their negligence in maintaining a tree on their property. Tell me what happened.
Your Honor, basically, I was a couple of blocks away from my home. It was a stormy night.
Okay.
As I was driving down the road, I saw like little white flashing lights coming through my windshield at me. At the time, I thought it was an airplane because I just previously heard that an airplane landed upside down on Long Island at an airport near us.
So if that airplane landed upside down, what made you think that this was an airplane?
So I'm thinking,
it was in your head, so you got scared?
Exactly. I'm thinking, what are these lights? And the next thing I know, I felt something come through the windshield on top of me.
Okay, but hold on. I want you to describe, I want to understand, like I want to put myself in your position.
Okay.
How many seconds are you seeing the white lights, and what are the white lights doing?
They're going all over in front of my eyes,
Okay.
like swerving like this, back and forth, swaying.
Okay.
And of course, I'm thinking in my head, oh my God, I hope this ain't a plane landing on me now.
Okay.
And then the next thing you know.
How many seconds did all that take?
I would say maybe 3 seconds.
Okay, and then the next thing you know.
I feel something hit the top of the van, come through the windshield. It turned out to be a tree. At that time, of course, I slammed the brakes of the vehicle, and I see Mrs. Ross and a couple of other people come running towards the van. At that time, I knew what the white lights were because they were coming through the side of the passenger window.
And they were flashlights.
And they were flashlights.
Okay. All right, so did you go to the hospital? With the ambulance
Yes, I
called?
did. The Rosses, I believe, had called the police and ambulance, but they said previously to that there was another tree down, or maybe, I don't know, a wire down, and they were trying to call the police, I believe, previously for 2 hours.
Right.
I remember they were. No one ever showed up. I believe I waited there, I'm not even sure about the time, maybe a half hour, 40 minutes, and then I went to my house around the corner, and that's when my fiance took me to the hospital.
Okay, so she took you to the hospital that night. And what kind of injuries did you have?
I had a little bit of internal bleeding from the mouth, but it turned out, I guess, the glass...
When you say internal bleeding, do you mean blood was coming out? What do you mean by internal bleeding?
The glass from the windshield, it turned out to be went in my mouth.
Okay, so your mouth was cut. Is that what you mean by internal bleeding?
Yes.
Okay, all right, because internal bleeding is
a little
something
contusion on my hand and the thumb.
Okay.
And just a little dizziness, and they released me from the hospital a few hours later.
Okay, what kind of damage did your van sustain?
The front buckled in, pillared into the van where the windshields, the metal bars hold the windshield in. The windshield came through the front of the car and buckled in the top of the interior of the roof on top of me and blew out.
And do you have an estimate for what it cost to repair?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
All right, do you have any photos to show me?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Do you, this sketch that we have up here, why don't you come over and sort of give me the rundown on how this happened? We have, I love my stuff. We have a little tree.
Oh, I can move this?
Yeah, okay. Move everything. We just have it up there.
This is Richmond, let's say. I'm traveling down Richmond. Okay. As I'm coming down, the tree went like this.
Okay.
And it came exactly to the front top of the roof.
If the tree wasn't down, and are you suggesting that the storm knocked the tree over at that very moment? What the heck are they doing out there with flashlights if that's the case?
I guess to warn me in some way.
That what? That because they're prescient and they know the tree's going to come down?
Exactly.
Okay, go ahead and go. Exactly. That was sarcasm on my part. All right, what happened there that night?
Okay, it was a very stormy night, Your Honor, okay? It was teeming, pouring rain.
That's the only thing the two of you agree on. It was a dark and stormy night.
It was horrible, okay? We came home, and as we approached our driveway, my husband saw the tree down. There was a flare in the road. And my neighbor, Tina Pollenberg, I have an affidavit from her estate. She had called. The tree had already been down about an hour and a half. Another neighbor came along. He parked his truck at the bottom on Richmond Boulevard with his flashing lights on. And we moved our other truck on the other side of the tree with the flashes on, okay? And we were warning traffic.
So there was a car with flashers on both
Three
sides?
cars.
Come on up. I can't hear you yelling from a chair. Come on up, sir.
Could I show you?
Sure, come on over.
The tree in question was a twin oak tree. I had my car with flashers. This is the tree. I had my pickup truck had flashers. My friend Mr. Mangiani was going out to dinner. He pulled this way with his flashers on to keep traffic this way. Another neighbor up here went up to see the police and said, "Why is this all this traffic?" They gave him cones. He put cones on West 4th Street.
After the accident.
I honestly
Well, he
don't know.
put cones anyway.
Did you see cones?
Flashers.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, go on.
Anyway, the tree did not fall on him. This is making me insane. He keeps insisting the tree's falling on him.
Okay.
God is my witness, my two eyes. I stood and watched him drive his van right into the tree.
Does anybody have photos?
I have some photos.
Everybody
but
hand
not
up
of
your
the tree
photos.
down because
I gave the photos.
Because of the terrible storm. I didn't take pictures. I never figured it was a tree. I didn't think anything would come
So
to
did
it.
you, where
I
did
know
your pictures
this is
come
where
from, the next
tree
day?
was. I just took these, yes.
Was
We
the tree
call-
struck, this is a very good picture right here. Was the tree struck by lightning or anything, or nobody?
No, it was just the windstorm. If I could say, Your Honor, that a lot of vehicles came down Richmond Boulevard. Nobody hit the tree. They all stopped before the tree.
Tell me about
Turned
that. You're
around
out
and
there,
went
you've got the
back.
flashlight, you're waving
With
it,
the
and what happens?
flashlight. I see Mr. Russo's van coming down, and I'm like, he's not slowing up. He kept right on going. He didn't even slow down. He just hit it. And honestly, I thought he would have been decapitated
Right.
because the tree hit right at his windshield level, the way the tree was angled.
You know, their defense, I take it, is that this is an act of God, this is not our fault, how do we control a tree?
Right.
My question to you is, on what theory then is it their fault? You had an arborist go out there. Tell me about that.
Okay, maybe they didn't know in this case, but if you know the tree is dead or rotten, if you know it, you have an obligation to cut it down.
Yes.
Why?
Well, because of possibility of someone on your property getting hurt.
Fair enough, but it's on your property.
I think it's a hazardous, and it's the responsibility of the owner of the.
So if you leave it and somebody gets hurt, you're responsible?
Yes.
That's simple, going inside the courtroom.
I hired a tree expert and arborist, Your Honor. Like you said, I have paperwork here.
Hold on one second. Is that person here to testify?
No, he's not, Your Honor.
Okay, this is a New York case. Why is that person not here? They're your entire case. See, here's the thing. When a tree goes down because of a storm, it is typically an act of God, unless someone's doing a rain dance and bringing the storm down and directing where the wind goes. It is an act of God, okay? The exception to that is if a homeowner knows or should have known that the tree was rotted. That's the exception, okay? Now, you have an arborist. Give me the arborist. What does he do? He cuts down trees, right?
He knows the
health.
health of a tree and everything like that.
At this time, my findings were that this tree was extremely rotten and hollow, the results being from several different existing problems. 1, carpenter ants. 2, boring insects. 3, tree mold. 4, neglect. My professional opinion is that the tree and some of the other surrounding trees on this property should have been, you're not just bad on this tree, you're bad on every tree on your property. Should have been removed.
Bad homeowner.
Should have been removed many years prior to the actual falling of the tree. The exterior appearance of said tree and surrounding trees shows a complete hazard, as I explained to the homeowners. If not for neglect of this tree, my opinion is that it would not have fallen due to the storm on the night of March 13th. Okay.
Your Honor, my pictures reflect the other trees on the property that they took that show the tree that's adjacent to the tree that I was after. Now,
Wait. Is this a picture of the tree in question, or is this a picture of some other tree?
That's the picture of the tree in question, but there's ones next to it in the other pictures that show that exterior of the trees surrounding it are exactly like it was
Pull the pictures
rotted.
that you're talking about.
Okay.
But these are the pictures of the tree in question.
Yes.
I'm looking at the outside of this tree. What's wrong with the outside of this tree? What homeowner would look at the outside of this picture and say, wow, that tree is really rotted?
Well, look at the tree next to it. That tells you right there there's old moss
That's a
and
chunk
mold.
that falls down when the tree comes down. That doesn't show that there's... Look, the tree looks like this. That's why that picture was taken, to show how the tree looks on the outside. You're trying to tell me that this open wound was there? No. And this chunk was there? No. That's the stuff that happens after the storm. You have no evidence that that chunk was there beforehand. All the evidence you have that you're showing me is this outside, which, quite frankly, I got to tell you, makes your... you have several problems. Number one, I want to cross-examine this fellow because these pictures don't show what he's willing to say here. They show something completely different. That's the outside of a tree, and I'm the person responsible for the tree, I would never know to chop this thing down. You've got to show me that the outside of this look rotted. Every picture that your arborist takes shows an outside that doesn't look rotted. But the worst part about it is this. This is small claims, and I am willing to bend the rules a little bit. We all do in small claims, and we allow a certain amount of hearsay to come on in here, but I do not pin an entire case on hearsay. There has to be, and this is a New York case, there's no excuse why this guy's not here, so that I have a chance to cross-examine him on all of these issues.
He inspected the other trees on our property, and he told us everything looks great. All your trees are in good shape.
Yeah, well, apparently he wanted his $175. All right, folks, based on what I'm looking at, I find in favor of the defendants.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So he loses his case and the plaintiff comes out here. How come you couldn't bring the guy in with you to testify?
I honestly didn't think I needed him. Once I got his letter, I thought that would be enough. I mean, the tree came down on me. That's all I know. I was driving. I shouldn't have flashlights put in my face to begin with while I'm driving.
Well,
That's illegal.
well, somebody's trying to warn you off of maybe a tree that might have been down there, and a terrible night. Maybe you were distracted. Maybe the tree was down there.
I'm usually not distracted when I'm driving unless it's something distracting.
Those conditions are so harsh that are being described.
It was stormy. I'm honest about that. It was very stormy, but I think looking at the pictures of the tree and everything shows complete rot on the outside.
I don't think I've ever met a guy who swallowed glass before.
Terrible.
In the
it
circus.
was all in my. I thought it like broke a rib because I tasted blood, but it was actually the glass in my
all right.
mouth.
Thank goodness you survived.
All
right. Take care. All right. Bye-bye. Come on in here. So you satisfied how this finally comes out?
Yeah? Yes, I am.
The guy could have been. Ooh, it sounds like it was scary out there.
It was a very scary night.
When he
and
went
that's
into
why we
that
put 3
tree,
vehicles
what
out
went through
there.
your mind when he went
I
into?
thought for sure he was decapitated. I was almost afraid to run over to the car and see how he was, but he got out of the van and he was fine. He was stunned, no doubt about it, and he had glass all over him. But then he disappeared. He left.
But he still insisted the tree hit him.
That tree was down an
Unbelievable.
hour and a half before, and that's why we had all the emergency lights.
Harvey?
Thank you.
Okay, if you have a neighbor who does something like this, who has a rotten tree, and you know it's rotten, and they won't cut it down, send them an email, put them on notice that you can prove that they knew it, because once they're on notice, they are on the hook. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.